Hey everyone, it's Mike here from The Art of Guitar. There are a lot of people talking about Master of Puppets right now, and that's because Stranger Things showcased it on their season finale of season 4. Eddie Munson played it, and now everybody's talking about this song. Speaking of Eddie, he reminds me a lot of how I dressed back in junior high, and he even made me bust out the old chain wallet again. Check it out. Anyhow, I know a lot of people are learning Master of Puppets right now, and so I wanted to give you 10 quick tips to really jumpstart your way into playing it. So there are 3 patterns that I suggest you practice for your palm muting. You really have to have a tight palm mute if you're going to play Metallica, obviously. So the first thing we're going to do is just with open strings, we're going to go to the 6th string, do 2 mutes, and then unmute. Practice that first, and then speed it up. Trust me, that's going to help us in a little bit here. Let's add the fretting hand and you'll actually be playing a lot of the intro. So watch my picking hand especially here. You see how it was bouncing like that? Especially when I speed up, you'll see the bounce happen. People have trouble with that bounce, but if you do it really slow, mute, mute, open, you'll start to feel it naturally happen. Now the next tip is when you do the intro descending riff, play mostly with your middle finger. And this is something that took me forever to figure out. I had to watch a video of them playing live and put it in slow motion to figure it out. As you descend, use your middle finger, then go to your power chords like you have to, and then the rest of the way use your middle finger. That way when you get down to the very end of it, you go 2nd fret, 1st fret, open. And you can use your middle finger, index finger, then open. So it looks like this. So if you're using your index finger as you're going down, when you get to the bottom and you have to go 2-1-0 fretwise, you kind of have to do this funny movement. But if you're already using your middle finger, you just have to roll it like that. It's kind of nice. Eddie Munson actually does that correctly. Now, if you can't quite get your downstrokes up to speed, this is the hardest part for everybody. The forearm starts to burn, the wrist hurts, everything starts to cramp up. So don't try to go full speed right away. Build yourself up, really ramp into it over time. And what I like to do is I did a whole downstroke. It's called a daily downstroke routine. You can find that on my channel. Just type in Art of Guitar downstrokes or something. And what I like to do is I like to do short bursts, but I also like to choke up on the pick quite a bit. If your pick is sticking out, it's going to make this a lot more difficult because there's just a lot of extra floppy pick happening and it seems harder to control. If you tighten up on your pick, I mean, Hetfield does his 3-finger technique. I don't do that, but it's very effective. A lot of people like that too. But I just choke up on the pick, so I make the pick very small and tight. So start with short bursts, like maybe 3. Try to go to 4. Eventually you'll be able to do the verse riff up to speed. Now be careful when you're doing these riffs that you pay attention to every mute, because I used to play the main riff like this. And then I discovered there's actually some hidden mutes in there that really make it feel better. That one mute makes a big difference. Listen to the difference. Without it, with it. It kind of grounds you into the riff in a different way. It feels better to play and to hear. Another place this happens a lot is during the chorus. I used to just kind of haphazardly go through the chords like. So when you're reading the tab, hopefully it's accurate. Make sure to get those mutes in the right place. For example, that CBA movement is actually this. Not the lazy way like I was doing. And then the next part. Now when you get to the middle part, the clean arpeggios, which is one of my favorite parts of any Metallica song, it's so musical, so melodic. Don't forget that you're actually just playing chord shapes. This is something that flew over my head when I was first trying to learn this because I didn't know a lot about my guitar theory and how things came together. So I was trying to follow the tab and my fingers look like this. I probably sounded like that too. See how much I'm moving my fingers? It's just too much movement going on. make sure that you base them off of the chord shapes that they're created with. So for example, this is just E minor, D, the little flutter, adding the G, but that melts into the C add 9. So if you relate all of these to chord shapes, it's going to be a lot smoother, and it's better to learn this now, early on in your guitar career, than to have to go through the pains of sounding so choppy and working way harder than you have to. One thing I noticed whenever I was trying to do the dual lead, my friend and I would practice it, and every time I tried to get fancy, it would sound worse. Because I'm used to playing lead guitar, I'm used to doing vibrato and pull-offs and a bunch of stuff. But if you just play as flat, I shouldn't say flat, as straight as possible, no vibrato, it's gonna melt into the other guitar part a lot better. So try to play it like this. See how I didn't do any vibrato at the end? The old me would have tried to shake it and to do something fancy. It's just not gonna work. It has to blend with the other part. It's like when two singers try to harmonize and one person keeps doing vibrato, it kind of wrecks it. The first solo you hear after the dueling lead part is actually James Hetfield, and a lot of tab books have gotten this wrong. I've done other videos on this, the idea of the tab book being wrong. But this particular part, a lot of people have learned it wrong, so they teach it wrong as well. So I used to play it like this. So I would start on the second string 17th fret. If you watch James live, especially on the Howard Stern show, you could see that he starts with his index finger there, and then he plays up in this area here, so 17th position. And he goes like this. He actually does that really quick middle finger switch at the end, which I don't do. I just roll my index finger, but if you want to do it exactly like James, you gotta go to your middle finger right there. So there's this kind of myth that went around. A lot of tab books early on said that Kirk Hammett pulls the E string off the side of the fretboard to create this gigantic squeal in the solo. But this pulling the string off the edge happens in a different part. So actually, you know, the squeal is done by hitting a natural harmonic. It's the third string, 2.6 they call it. It's so fun to do. Dimebag Darrell did that all the time as well. I have a whole video on it called Decimal Point Harmonics. So during the high squeal, it's a natural harmonic with the trem bar. So where does that pulling the string off actually happen? It's right after the tremolo picking part. He goes like this. So I had to do it really slow because it's really hard to do. Kirk Hammett says he doesn't even try to do it anymore because it was just kind of this accident in the studio. But it is right after that trem part. Once you do the pull-offs, that's pretty much the best I can emulate it. So if you want to emulate Kirk Hammett exactly and try to get that down, pull it off right in that area right after the tremolo picking. I love the sound that makes. It just sounds like you stepped on a mouse or something. One thing I see people do incorrectly is that last bend on the 22nd fret of the first string. They try to really shake it to get that crazy sound at the end. It really helps to use your trem bar, and that's what Hammett does in the studio. You could really hear it go crazy. You could hear the note going insane, and that's how you know it's the trem bar. You could get a lot off of your finger, you know, if you shake it hard enough, but it doesn't quite sound the same. It's supposed to sound very doomish, you know, like the Upside Down or something. You're about to die. Spoiler, a bunch of bats are about to eat you. So you have to make that squeal really scream. So that very last bend of the solo, coming off of those unison bends climbing up, you could use your finger, like I said, it would sound like this. That's pretty extreme, you know, and that's what I would do if I didn't have a trem bar. But the way you really want to make it sound is if you bend it up, grab the trem bar, shake it, and slowly depress it, as they say, so it sounds like it's going down as it's shaking. It takes a little bit of practice. Okay, so I hope those 10 quick tips helps anyone who's trying to do Master of Puppets. I know some of them are a little more advanced, like you might not get to them until you've practiced the song for a long time, especially the solo stuff that I was doing. But as far as the intro is concerned, I think a lot of those tips can help people out. Okay, everyone, thank you for watching, and we'll catch you at the next video. Okay, bye.